Hello and welcome to NTV Chat. I'm Devendra Subedi. We're pleased to have with us former Deputy Prime Minister of Finland, Finance Minister of Finland, former, and currently serving as the European Commissioner for International Partnership, Urpilainen. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
I understand this is your first visit to Nepal. First of all, welcome to Nepal, and how has been your engagement so far, and what's your first impression of this country?
First of all, namaste. I'm very delighted to be in this beautiful country. I have to say that I have a very good program today. So I started my day with civil society organizations. I had very good discussion with them. Also, I met young people around different provinces from Nepal. And then I met your Prime Minister. And later today I will also meet the President and the Foreign Minister. I will visit some projects. So I would say very intense day. But so far I am very honored of hospitality you have presented to me. And also I want to thank Nepal and Nepalese for the good cooperation we have had almost 50 years between Nepal and the European Union.
Don't you feel like you have come with a very short time in Nepal? You got to see a few more areas where you can see real Nepal?
I definitely want to come here again. I also want to go outside capital, Kathmandu. But unfortunately this time I need to continue my traveling because I'm responsible for 126 countries, including Nepal. So that's why my schedule is this time very busy.
You had a meeting with Prime Minister. So what's your impression of the meeting with the Prime Minister regarding, the things that you have said so far, like Nepal's commitment to democracy, and then, all these sort of things? What sort of commitment you got from the Prime Minister?
I had very constructive and good discussion with him. Of course, I wanted to congratulate him. It's not easy task to be a chair and leader of a coalition government with 7 parties. I have my own experience to be the Deputy Prime Minister of 6 different parties coalition. So I know that from my own experience. I think where we definitely want to support the government is really to improve the development in this country and also improve the economic development. And I personally see that this stability and development, they are 2 sides of one coin. And in order to also maintain stability in a society, it means that we need to invest more in development. Human development, human resources, but also, I would say, good governance. And this, I would say, how every Nepalese is able to feel that he or she belongs to this society, that his or her voice is heard. So also creating new opportunities to be part of the society so that no one is really left behind. So this is definitely the objective. We are willing to support and work with the government.
Nepal, as you just said, Nepal and European Union's partnership is almost reaching 50 years now. In these years, how the relationship has evolved? How do you see this?
Well, of course, we have witnessed different kind of periods of development in your society. We are now living in the, I would say, still kind of post-conflict era in this society. Of course, you have also faced earthquake and very, very disastrous natural events. So I would say that they are different phases. But in general, I have to say that our cooperation has been very close and good, especially in the field of rural development, so green agenda, but also in terms of human development and good governance. Yeah. Because I think we both believe in values. We both believe in democracy, rule of law and human rights. And in order to be able to really implement those values in everyday life of our citizens, we need strong institutions. We need good governance. So this has been one of our priorities for the cooperation for a long time, and of course it still is.
So how do you see the future of this relationship going further as it crosses 50 years next year?
Well, We are still prioritizing a lot this good governance part and also the role of the civil society, because I think we want to support your government in their objective to really have an inclusive society. But in addition to that, we are focusing on human development, especially education, because the role of the education is important if you really want to transform society. And then the third aspect and priority area is precisely this green transition, because Nepal wants to be climate neutral country by the year 2045. Actually, it's a similar objective comparing to the European Union's target, because we want to be first carbon neutral continent by the year 2050. So it means that we have to also focus more on this green transition. And there, of course, the role of the energy transition is very important. I see also new opportunities regarding private sector involvement, because of course in our cooperation, the Commission but also our member states working as a Team Europe, we have been focusing quite a lot on public financing. And I think we need to try to attract also the European companies to invest more in Nepal, and especially in terms of energy transition, I see a lot of opportunities there. But of course, if you want to attract private sector and private companies to invest in Nepal, the role of good governance is crucial, because they want to invest if they see stability, but they also want to be sure that there is no corruption, there is a rule of law, and there is a human rights respected. So I think also from that perspective, of course, we need to support good governance and the rule of law.
Commissioner, just as you mentioned earlier, the greener way of development, the more sustainable way of development, these are some of the agendas EU has always been advocating. How do you see the compliance of countries like Nepal, least developed countries like Nepal, their compliance towards this direction?
I see a lot of possibilities for Nepal, especially in terms of renewable energy resources. I know that there are specific projects also funded by the EU or our member states, so-called Team Europe approach regarding hydropower, but I would say also we would like to invest more in solar power, solar energy. So there is a lot of opportunities. Of course, what we need also is really to look at the business environment, because very often these investments relating to green transition, whether they are regarding transport or they are regarding agriculture or I would say also energy, they are very much driven by the private sector and private companies. And that's why the role of the business environment regarding regulation, but also I would say anti-corruption and also strong institutions are so important. So that's why we are working with the government of Nepal in order to improve also the good governance in this society.
How important it is to invest in human resource when you talk about building strong institutions that respect the democratic values, rule of law, and how much is EU's investment in terms of human resource development?
It is important. And actually we adopted a new global gateway investment strategy through which we are supporting our partners like Nepal in their green and digital transition. We are not only focusing on hard infrastructure. We need definitely that. We need, we need to invest in hard infrastructure that is necessary. But in addition to that, we also need to invest in soft infrastructure like education, because you have very vibrant and energetic young population in Nepal. But if they are not equipped with skills which are needed in the labor market, of course it's a huge challenge. And that's why I think it's so important that we are providing 8 billion rupees additional funding to your education system in order to be able to provide more access to education for young Nepalese, But in addition to that, also improve the quality of education, because that's also important, not only to have access to education, but also, to be ensure that, the quality of education is high. So this is definitely one of our priority area.
Building human resource capital, human capital. But as you said, Commissioner, spending in education, that has been one of your areas of cooperation. But one of the problems countries like Nepal is facing is the plight of human resource abroad. We are not being able to create employment as much as people need here. Is there any way they can, Nepal can sustain those skilled or semi-skilled human resource back home by creating more jobs?
I definitely see that this global gateway strategy we now adopted, and which is very much implemented through the European Commission, but also our member states. Here in Nepal we have Finland and Germany and France present, and also their development financial institutions. We are able to support also the SMEs in your country, and I think this is something which is a huge opportunity, especially for young people, that they can they can create their own business. And so I'm quite confident that there are a lot of opportunities.
So that the country can sustain the semi-skilled human resource, as your investment is also on that side of developing human capital in the country. Okay, European and Nepal both, Nepal both respect rule-based governance, rule of law, democratic values, and these are in the core of the cooperation between the two institutions. How do you see this EU-Nepal cooperation in multilateral fora, evolving in the context of geopolitical turmoil?
Well, indeed, both of us, the European Union and Nepal, we believe in democracy. Yeah. We believe in rule of law. We believe in human rights. We believe in freedom of expression. And we believe in rule-based international order. And of course, unfortunately, that order is challenged at the moment by Russia. And of course, I want to thank Nepal for its support in terms of condemning Russia's attack against Ukraine, but also defending this UN Charter and international rule-based order. Because I think for a country like Nepal, but also for the community like the European Union and our 27 member states, it is important to know that it's not only power, the strength of country, which matters, but there are rules, international rules, agreements, which are respected, and therefore I think it's important that we together work even more closely in order to defend a multilateral international system, defend also UN Charter, and ensure that in the future we still have a world order where the rules are respected. And I think that's the only way also to tackle our common global challenges like the climate change, which is of course also from the Nepalese perspective a huge challenge, taking into account how vulnerable you are regarding climate change, all the floods and earthquakes and so forth. So I think it's important that we stick to the international rule-based order, and we are even more assertive also in this endeavor.
Is there any immediate possibility of expanding the areas of cooperation between Nepal and the European Union?
Well, we are definitely working with the Nepalese government regarding education. So this is a kind of long-standing objective. But I would say that the new area where we are very interested in and looking for the opportunities is precisely this energy production, and how to support Nepal to also improve and increase their renewable energy production. So I see this as a new opportunity for our cooperation, and as I said, happy to also bring European companies to invest in this field.
As a Commissioner for International Partnership, how would you address the young people, especially of Nepal? What
Well,
message you have?
First of all, I want to thank you for the hospitality I have received so far. And I want to say that it is important that, young people have dreams and they are working in order to make those dreams come true. Because definitely young people are the future of Nepal, but at the same time, young people are also the present of this society. So that's why the European Union is working very closely with the young people in order to engage with them, make them feel that their voice is heard, but at the same time also empower them through these education projects and also education contributions, financial contributions. And in addition to that, of course, we also want to create networks so that, European students could come to study to Nepal, but also that Nepalese young people could come to study to Europe. I know that many already do that and does that, but I think it's important that we could even, strengthen the network, so people-to-people connection between the European Union and Nepal. So this is my objective. I'm working for that.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Urpilainen.
Thank you
I hope I
very much.
got your pronunciation correct at the end of this interview. As you said, hopefully Nepal and EU's cooperation expands to a greater height in the days to come, and as the relationship continues to evolve into new areas of cooperation. Thank you so much for your time. Wish you a pleasant stay in Nepal, and I hope your next visit would be for a longer period of time. Thank you so much for sparing your time for a short interview with Nepal Television.
Thank you very much.
That was Urpilainen, European Commissioner for International Partnership. She was talking with Nepal Television during a very short stay in Nepal, just for one day. And thank you so much for being with us. Until next time, from the entire crew of NTV Chat, goodbye.